mound, 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 mound. Mound. A mound of something is a large pile of it. Boost. To boost something means to increase or improve it. Compatible. When things are compatible, they work well or exist together successfully.
Jan and Fred are too different. They will never be compatible.
Overcast. When the sky is overcast, it is full of clouds and is not sunny.
The sky was overcast in the morning, but by noon it was bright again.
Remedy. A remedy is a cure for a speck. A speck is a very small mark or amount. Competence. Competence is the ability to do something well or effectively.
The job was easy because the group had enough competence to do it well.
Cramp. A cramp is a strong pain caused by a muscle after a lot of physical use. Graduate. To graduate from a school means to complete and pass all courses of study there. Bliss. Bliss is a state of complete happiness. Attorney. An attorney is one who gives others advice about the law. Graffiti. Graffiti is words or drawings in public places. Soy. Soy is a food made from soybeans. Curb. To curb something means to prevent it from happening or increasing.
She curbed her anger by listening to a relaxing song.
Stool. A stool is a seat with legs but no support for a person's arms and back. Dominance. The dominance of a person is their state of being more powerful than others. Bribe. To bribe someone means to illegally persuade them for a favor with money. Rubble. Rubble is piles of broken stone and wood created after a building is destroyed. Monument. A monument is a structure that is built to remind people of a person or event. Extract. To extract something means to remove it. Corps. A corps is a division of a military force. Precaution. A precaution is an action that is meant to stop something bad from happening. Equivalent. An equivalent is an amount or value that is the same as another amount or value. Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good. Filth. Filth is a large amount of dirt or dirty things that disgust you. Gossip. Gossip is information that might be untrue but is still discussed anyway. Revenue. Revenue is the income made by a company. Butler. A butler is the most important male servant in a wealthy house. Accessory. An accessory is a thing that is added to another thing to make it look better. Waver. To waver is to be unable to decide between two choices. Marble. Marble is a type of rock that feels cold and is smooth when cut. Informative. When something is informative, it automate. To automate a company means to install machines or computers to do the work. Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
At the onset of the battle, the enemy wasn't prepared for such a large attack.
Numb. When a body part is numb, it does not have any feeling. Facilitate. To facilitate something is to make it easier. Reckless. When people are reckless, they act in an unsafe way. Rubbish. Rubbish is trash or waste. Flaw. A flaw is a mistake in something that causes it to be less effective or correct. Frequent. If something is frequent, then it happens or is done often. Assess. To assess something means to judge the structure, purpose, or quality of it. Context. Context is the situations that form the background of an event. Reign. A reign is the period of time in which a ruler rules. Slot. A slot is a narrow opening in a machine or container. Skeptic. A skeptic is a person who does not believe something.
The scientist showed the skeptic that dinosaurs did exist by providing evidence.
Sage. A sage is someone who is very wise. Spouse. A spouse is the person to whom someone is married. Stimulus. A stimulus is something that causes growth or activity. Framework. A framework is a set of rules or ideas that people use to solve problems. Needy. If someone is needy, they are very poor.
Consult. To consult someone means to ask them for help.
Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired.
Jane was weary after a long day of work.
Paramount. When something is paramount, it is more important than anything else.
The safety of passengers must be paramount when designing a car.
Academy. An academy is a special type of school.
Marrow. Marrow is the soft substance in the center of bones.
Toward. If you go toward something, you go closer to it.
Amid. If something is amid something else, then it is in the middle of it.
Trust. To trust is to believe that someone is honest and
Wail. To wail is to show sadness by crying loudly.
steal. To steal is to take something that is not yours.
Manor. A manor is a large house with many rooms. Tract. A tract is a large area of land. Upwards. If something goes upwards, it moves vertically higher. Horizon. The horizon is where the sky looks like it meets the ground.
The sun dipped below the horizon.
Hazard. A hazard is something that could be dangerous to a person's health or safety.
Smoking cigarettes poses many health hazards.
Smallpox. Smallpox is a disease that causes tiny bumps on the skin and high fevers.
When she saw the tiny bumps, she thought her son might have smallpox.
Captain. A captain is the person who leads a ship or airplane.
Clumsy. If someone is clumsy, then they are awkward in handling things. Lush. If something is lush, then it is full of a variety of large, healthy plants.
The lush.
Stray. To stray means to go in a wrong direction and often become lost.
Opportunity. An opportunity is a chance to do something. Dinosaur. A dinosaur is a very big animal that lived millions of years ago.
I like to see the dinosaur bones at the museum.
Worsen. To worsen is to get worse. Vow. To vow means to make a promise to do something.
Average. If something is average, it is at a normal level.
Glide. To glide means to fly on extended wings with little or no effort.
Crop. A crop is food that a farmer grows.
Chatter. To chatter means to talk quickly about unimportant things. Collide. To collide with something means to hit into it while moving. Mound. A mound of something is a large pile of it. Pledge. To pledge means to make a promise to do something. Swift. If something is swift, it is fast.
Journalist. A journalist is a person who writes news stories.
Launch. To launch something means to make it go into motion. Alley. An alley is a narrow road behind houses or buildings. Camouflage. Camouflage is something used to hide people and things.
Genius. A genius is a very smart person.
Cot. A cot is a small portable bed. Overcast. When the sky is overcast, it is full of clouds and is not sunny. Speck. A speck is a very small mark or amount. Uproar. Uproar is loud noise caused by people who are very angry or upset. Competence. Competence is the ability to do something well or effectively. Cramp. A cramp is a strong pain caused by a muscle after a lot of physical use.
Though. Though is used when the second idea makes the first seem surprising.
Quiver. To quiver means to tremble or shake. Bliss. Bliss is a state of complete happiness.
Every time he sees his girlfriend, he feels a sense of bliss.
Curb. To curb something means to prevent it from happening or increasing. Stool. A stool is a seat with legs but no support for a person's arms and back. Bribe. To bribe someone means to illegally persuade them for a favor with money. Rubble. Rubble is piles of broken stone and wood created after a building is destroyed. Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good.
Lisa honed her chess skills by hours and hours of practice.
Filth. Hone. To hone some. Filth. Filth is a large amount of dirt or dirty things that disgust you.
Brain. The brain is the organ.
Waver. To waver is to be unable to decide between two choices. Astonish. To astonish someone means to greatly surprise them. Precise. If someone is precise, then they are exact and careful about their work. Stab. To stab means to cut someone or something with a sharp object, like collision. A collision is the act of two things hitting into each other. Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it. Distract. To distract someone means to stop them from concentrating on something. Facilitate. To facilitate something is to make it easier.
To facilitate the meeting, Melissa used a simple computer program.
Reckless. When people are reckless, they act in an unsafe way.
The reckless driver posed a threat to everyone else on the road.
Rubbish. Rubbish is trash or waste. Assess. To assess something means to judge the structure, purpose, or quality of it.
She assessed the condition of the toy car before buying it.
Temperate. When a place is temperate, it never gets too hot or cold. Magnet. A magnet is a piece of iron or other material which attracts iron toward it. Sage. A sage is someone who is very wise.
Hal always visited the local sage for help with love.
Framework. A framework is a set of rules or ideas. Needy. If someone is needy, they are very poor. Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired.
Jane was weary.
Paramount. When something is paramount, it is more important than anything else. Escort. To escort people means to safely accompany them to a place. Antibiotic. An antibiotic is a medical drug used to kill bacteria and treat infections. Amid. If something is amid something else, then it is in the middle of it. Wail. To wail is to show sadness by crying loudly. Masculine. When something is masculine, it is a quality or thing related to men. Manor. A manor is a large house with many rooms.
The manor had over 40 rooms in addition to beautiful gardens.
Upwards. If something goes upwards, it moves vertically higher. Faculty. A faculty is a mental or physical ability.
The boy's mental faculties impressed all of his teachers.
Headquarters. A headquarters is a building where the bosses of a company work.
He drove the long
Bark. When a dog barks, it makes a short, loud noise. Alert. To alert someone is to tell or warn them about something.
The fire alarm alerted us that there was a problem.
Molecule. Terminate. To terminate something means to stop or end it.
The trip was terminated after the car broke down.
Likewise. If someone does something likewise, they do the same thing as someone else. Sentence. A sentence is punishment given to rack. A rack is an object with shelves that holds things.
He stored his tools on a rack.
Stray. To stray means to go in a wrong direction and often become lost.
He found himself lost because he had strayed from the tour group.
Audit. To audit means to inspect financial records from a person or business. Update. To update something means to make it more modern. Vow. To vow means to make a promise to do something. Parachute. A parachute is a device that helps people and things fall to the ground safely.
They used parachutes dropped from airplanes to send supplies to the civilians.
Glide. To glide means to fly on extended wings with little or no effort. Chatter. To chatter means to talk quickly about unimportant things.
The children chattered in the back of the classroom.
Mound. A mound of something is a large pile of it.
There was a mound of clothes on the messy teenager's floor.
Fluorescent. If something is fluorescent, it is such a bright color that it seems to give off light. Consumption. The consumption of food or drink is the act of eating or drinking it. Germ. A germ is something that makes you sick. Cot. A cot is a small portable bed.
At the camp, the boys' cabin was lined with cots.
Overcast. When the sky is overcast, it is full of clouds and is not sunny. Circuit. A circuit is a piece of an electronic device that allows electricity to flow.
Be very careful not to shock your...
Compel. To compel someone to do something means to force them to do it. Integrity. Integrity is honesty and good morals. Multiple. If there are multiple things, there are many of them. Capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system where private companies make goods for profit.
Most industries in the world today are based on capitalism.
Torture. Torture is something that causes you physical or mental pain.
Greg thought that writing the essay was torture.
Predict. To predict something is to say that it will happen.
She predicted that I would get married next year.
Gorgeous. When something is gorgeous, it is very pleasing and attractive.
Contest. A contest is a game or a race.
Stool. A stool is a seat with legs but no support for a person's arms and back. Routine. A routine is a way of doing things that is the same every time.
Apartment. An apartment is a set of rooms in a building where people live.
Elaborate. When something is elaborate, it contains a lot of details. Private. If something is private, it is only used by one person or group.
Don't look at my diary. It's private.
Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good. Filth. Filth is a large amount of dirt or dirty things that disgust you. Waver. To waver is to be unable to decide between two choices. Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
At the on.
Rubbish. Rubbish is trash or waste.
The floor around the garbage can was covered with all kinds of rubbish.
Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired. Paramount. When something is paramount, it is more important than anything else. Wail. To wail is to show sadness by crying loudly. Faculty. A faculty is a mental or physical ability. Glide. To glide means to fly on extended wings with little or no effort. Adequate. When something is adequate, it is good enough for something else. Acquisition. An acquisition is something that a person buys or gets in some way.
Marty was happy with his new acquisition, a very fast bicycle.
Nausea. Nausea is the feeling of being sick to your stomach. Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads.
We saw a woman weave a blanket on our vacation to South America.
Aggregate. When a number is aggregate, it is made up of smaller amounts added together. Radioactive. If something is radioactive, then it lets out or is related to radiation. Spectator. A spectator is someone who watches something, especially a sports event. Budget. A budget is the amount of money available to spend on something. Needle. A needle is a small, sharp piece of metal. Mutual. If something is mutual, it is felt in the same way by two or more people. Infinite. If something is infinite, it has no limit or end. Dignity. Dignity is the ability to be calm and worthy of respect.
Soil. Soil is the top layer of land on the earth.
Synthetic. If something is synthetic, then it is made to be like something natural.
Clothing made out of synthetic fabrics is very effective at keeping people warm.
Arrest. To arrest someone means to catch them for doing something bad.
Misconception. A misconception is a wrong idea. Forge. To forge is to make or produce, especially. Import. To import means to bring in a product.
Amuse. To amuse someone means to do something that is funny.
Criteria. Criteria are factors on which a person judges or decides something. Archaeological. When something is archaeological, it relates to archaeology.
They found archaeological evidence that proved an ancient species of man.
Proficient. When a person is proficient at something, they can do it well. Panic. To panic is to feel so nervous or afraid that you cannot think clearly. Bleed. To bleed, nucleus. The nucleus is the central part of assure. To assure someone is to tell them something is true.
Last. To last is to continue or go on for an amount of time.
Spectacular. If something is spectacular, it looks or sounds very impressive. Publicity. Publicity is public attention given to someone or something by the media.
She received a lot of publicity after her performance in the film.
Estate. An estate is a large area of land owned by a family or organization. Migraine. A migraine is a painful headache that makes one feel sick.
My sister gets a migraine every time she has a lot of stress.
Doubt. Doubt is a feeling of not being sure.
I have doubt that the story is true.
Flavor. A flavor is the taste of food or drinks.
Wheat. Wheat is a plant which makes grain. Impersonal. If something is impersonal, it is not friendly and makes people feel unimportant. Manipulate. To manipulate something means to skillfully or unfairly control or affect it.
Dare. To dare means to be brave enough to try something.
Outdated. When something is outdated, it is old and no longer useful in modern time.
Gentle. Someone who is gentle is kind and calm.
Situate. To situate something means to place or build it in a certain place. Monetary. When something is monetary, it relates to money.
A strong monetary policy is important.
Urgent. If something is urgent, it is important and incentive. And thread. A thread is a thin piece of string. Crude. When something is crude, it is not exact or deep. Bounce. To bounce is to move something up. Essence. The essence of something is its important qualities or basic characteristics. Mayor. The mayor is the person in charge of a city. Disgust. Disgust is a feeling of distaste and anger caused by something rude or unpleasant. Pharmaceutical. If something is pharmaceutical, then it is related to the development of drugs. Grease. Grease is an oily substance. Sacred. If something is sacred, then it is worshipped and respected.
Example. An example of something is a thing that is typical of it.
Upcoming. When something is upcoming, that means it will happen in the near future.
Manner. A manner is the way someone...
Fracture. A fracture is a crack or break in something. Brainstorm. To brainstorm is to have a lot of ideas about a certain topic.
Cheat. To cheat is to be dishonest, so that you can win or do well.
Dispose. To dispose of something means to get rid of it. Impulse. An impulse is a sudden, thoughtless urge to do something.
Because of this.
Subsidy. A subsidy is money given by the government to companies to assist them.
The official gave the company a subsidy so it could open 2 new factories.
Commence. To commence something means to begin it.
His speech commenced with a thank you to all who had helped him succeed.
Guess what happened to me?
Last name Beeswax, first name none of ya.
Oh, my third.
Cutting the gristle off his steak is...
Dear God, what have you done to me? is your pathetic attempt to punish me for humiliating you. This is your pathetic attempt to punish me for humiliating you.
Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good. Filth. Filth is a large amount of dirt or dirty things that disgust you.
Cutting the gristle off his steak is...
Waver. To waver is to be unable to decide between two choices. Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
Gathering evidence.
Pierce is barely a friend, and
Thanks a lot, Pollyanna.
I'll be back, but with booty.
Yeah.
Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired.
Morning, you're faster than some bacteria. Are you just doing...
Paramount. When something is paramount, it is more important than anything else. Wail. To wail is to show sadness by crying loudly.
You have a gift.
I'd rather learn boats than pots.
The student becomes the teacher.
Movies on VHS and mentally scar the Boy Scouts every...
What kind of God lets this happen?
I'll get a piece of paper that says you can go take a dump or something.
Bets.
Greta, why waste your time envying my gift for levity when there's so... You gonna fess up, weirdo?
Look, it wasn't...
Must be the robe.
Gotta go. That was tacky out there. You won't ever see that again.
Oh, no worries, brah.
Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads.
What about the look left speech?
Made it up. That's what I do. I make things up, and I got paid a lot of money to do it before I came to this school-shaped toilet. I was a lawyer.
What? No, I have to keep the car for the lesson. Don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Jeffrey? Jeffrey?
Aren't you supposed to have like an Olympic gold medal in jibber jabber? I'd appreciate it if you left and stopped wasting all of our time. Everybody ready?
There's the awkward pause.
No, and what is it with his hair?
It's perpetually moist.
It's pretty tight. Tight, yes. I've heard that about green tea.
Soil. Soil is the top layer of land on the earth.
The funny thing about being smart is that you can get through most of life without ever having to do any work. So, not really sure how to do that.
Can't believe you.
Honestly, Jeff, how dare you?
What a fool. This trip's got a case of the giggles, huh?
Well, you're that girl that got hooked on pills and then dropped out. You're little Annie Adderall.
Wow. You just wrinkled my brain, man.
He's good, isn't he?
He's real good.
Can you?
I want you to say to that person, I forgive you.
Profit, but I can't. I'm locked out of my old kingdom.
What are the odds?
Are you sure you didn't adjust the odds? I know Ovid's been eyeing that shirt for 3 weeks. It's
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
nothing.
You gonna be there?
Professor, will you look at the amount of work that I'm putting into this? I mean, throw me a bone.
You don't have to yell.
For calming everyone down, but since you're not a Spanish tutor, just a lying creep who purposely upset everyone in an attempt to get with me.
To the empowerage of words.
To the irony of that sentence.
Well, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Amy's eyes glisten. This was my favorite, she says. Can I? She smacks my leg. I want to let it sit a while. My balls crawl back inside. And he plods back to his car. She nudges me. A guy gets pulled over for a minor infraction and somehow it's the end of us all, right?
Last name Beeswax, first name none of ya.
Amy reaches into her beach bag and pulls out a children's book. She spins to face. Several years have passed. Even though.
Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good.
It goes out the window, over the balcony. You are so right.
Waver. To waver is to be unable to decide between two choices. Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
Sometimes I can't believe how alike we are.
Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired.
Jane.
People who may or may not have seen my mug. He snarled. But if you would ever leave your phone, I totally would. The Salingers have retreated into the house. People who thrive on other people's pain. I chose poorly with her and suffered the consequences. With whom she was closest. Oh, Joe, her legs quivering. And find a quiet spot.
Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads.
We wake up bloated, happy, pawing at the mug. I'll be right back. I get onto my knees and grovel. She caught me sneaking around in her phone and still she spread her legs. I memorize her face, her trembling lips. She turns back and winks. I tell her, reaching out. I take her phone out of her purse.
Profit, but I can't. I'm locked out of my old kingdom.
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
Nothing.
I want to let it sit a while. My balls crawl back inside of me. Several years have passed.
Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good. Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired.
The same water where I disposed of Pete. She shoves the book into her bag and we leave the beach. With the light fading. Amy nods toward the house. Do you know those people? But if you would ever leave your phone, I totally would.
I lapped her nipples with my tongue. Amy is my mouse, but this is my house and I'm deep into the extermination process already. Their hearts are hard and pale. I walk into the butcher and pick up Mr. Mooney's favorite sausage.
Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads.
We saw a woman weave a blanket on her.
She thinks life is better off the grid. He said that insurance money is the most beautiful kind of money there is in this world. Amy ransacked my least favorite section of I should be dragged into a field and shot for being so fucking. I've decided I need a change. She doesn't get to walk around thinking she got away with this.
She caught me sneaking around in her phone and still she spread her leg.
A heat that doesn't harass you in the shade. Why else would she steal those manuals? So to what do I owe this honor? And his patient, Mistress Beck. She claims to be so off the grid. He burps. I can't wait to catch her and tell her what a deluded loser she is. I trudge up the stairs. Well, what's wrong then? He jabs. I owe him a goodbye. And I will. You think you're gonna save my bacon using your lawyer powers and send me into fits of grateful arousal. Gentlemen, my client is insane. What? Gentlemen, I'm sure you suspected. Don't talk to me for a while. Hey, if you show up with me, follow my lead, and deny everything, you'll walk. You know, the blonde with the pouty, strident Kate Blanchett sexuality and the ridiculous name. Britta. She doesn't want to succeed because she doesn't think she can. No, I've never gotten a 0 before. Flattering, but if I'm gonna cheat, I'm not gonna write information from a Anyway, are you two an item? And if so, would that item be impervious to sabotage? Otherwise known as a crib sheet. What are you doing out there? I mean, you said it yourself, you don't. You're just doing all this because you want to sleep with me. Oh, you know, you have the savoir-faire of a hyena. This song goes out to Annie. If you're gonna argue with me, put on a bathing suit. And I'm afraid Greendale takes this kind of thing very seriously.
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
Nothing.
But relative to this place, I'm Alan Dershowitz. Because you're threatening to flunk everyone. If all I wanted was sex, I could get it from plenty of women without having to go through all this crap. How is it that you and James Bond come from the same island? Well, he is rather arrogant and has no mercy for weaker beings. I've got it. Very dry, very witty, not a great friend. Look at me. I can neither confirm nor deny that. See how good I am? Remember when we used to study Spanish?
But if you would ever leave your phone, I totally would.
How is student life, my dry-witted friend? She doesn't want to succeed because she doesn't think she can. How is it that you and James Bond come from the same island? Otherwise known as a crib sheet, but relative to this place, I'm Alan Dershowitz. You know, the blonde with the pouty, strident Kate Blanchett sexuality and the ridiculous name.
Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horse.
Hey, if you show up with me, follow my lead, and deny everything, you'll walk. And you can't do a basket toss to save your life, but you made a commitment. Look at me. I am. No, look how handsome my face is. I mean, you said it yourself, you don't even want to be my friend. Because you're threatening to flunk everyone. You're just doing all this because you want to sleep with me. I mean, you two are arguing about status at a college that correspondence schools make fun of. Oh, you know, you have the savoir-faire of a hyena. She doesn't get to walk around thinking she got away with this. If you're gonna argue with me, put on a bathing suit. Sections. Remember when we used to study Spanish? I can neither confirm nor deny that. See how good I am? Gentlemen, I've got it. She claims to be so off the... He burps. Gentlemen, I'm sure you suspected. Well, he is rather arrogant and has no mercy for weaker beings. This song goes out to Annie. Anyway, are you two and I... You think you're gonna save my bacon I trudge up the stairs. Flattering, but if I'm gonna cheat, don't talk to me for a while. If all I wanted was sex, I could get it from plenty of women without having to go through all this crap. No, I've never gotten a 0, but and I'm afraid Greendale takes this kind of thing very seriously.
Send me in the direction of this person. Deep down, I always knew it was a facade. What'd they get? Not much, just a couple bucks.
She pulled the wool over my eyes. I can't get to the shop fast enough. I grab my phone and call her. The basement door is ajar too. The bitch came here to trick me, to rob me, and I made her fucking keys. I clenched the machete. Gentlemen, I'm sure you suspect.
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
Nothing.
Well, he is rather arrogant and has no mercy for weaker beings. I can neither confirm nor deny that. See how good I am?
Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads.